Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the first semifinal game of the IHSA Class 1A baseball tournament, presented by Sports Authority. On the scoreboard, the visitors will be the explorers of Alton, Marquette, and the Bulldogs of Effingham season from the United. The winner of this contest will be the winner of the next game tomorrow morning for the Class 1A championship. Now, let's move to close it up and allow this game. For the visiting explorers of Alton, Marquette, they want to be in the 27 week, leading to head coach Joe Circle, who has a career of 55 wins and 30 losses over 3 years. His assistant coaches, Pat Owen, Steve Angelo, Matt Oaker, Matt King, and Constance. America's reserves. Number 1, Steve Peterbaum. Number 15, Ryan Yanko. Number 17, David Bailey. Number 20, Nick Olson. Number 24, Andy Miller. Number 28, Brazil. Number 33, Lane Sanders. Number 42, Eric Edison. Number 44, Devin Brooks. Number 40, Diana. This is our Number 2, Zach Carolina. Number 4, Tom Stephen. Number 9, Scott Winslow. Number 10, Kyle Otis. Number 20, Eddie Clark. Number 25, Anna Hooley. Number 26, Eddie Clark. Number 27, Michael Stephen. Ladies and gentlemen, this rise is our second meeting who's facing the national anthem.
A little less than 3 weeks ago, 366 Class 1A and 2A baseball teams in Illinois began their quest to play in Peoria on June 1st, and 8 have realized that dream. Hi again, everybody. I'm Dave Bernhardt. We welcome you to Peoria and O'Brien Field for the 1A and 2A state baseball finals. Coming up right now, we've got Effingham St. Anthony taking on Alton Marquette later on today. It'll be Lena Winslow and Tuscola in 1A. Then this afternoon in 2A, Rock Island Alleman takes on Herscher, and we wrap it up today in Class 2A with Trenton Westland and Normal U High. Bring in my partner, Hall of Fame coach and state championship coach, Mark Lindo. And Mark, as we focus in on game number 1 with Alton Marquette, Effingham St. Anthony, the one thing that just jumps out at you about these two teams is how even they are, almost clones of each other.
We start with a cliche, pitching and defense. That's what wins championships. That's why both of these teams are here this morning. Both of these teams are very solid fundamentally, grit strength up the middle, catching middle infield, center field, and it all starts with the two kings of the hill, Ben Hecht and Tommy Anderson, who we'll be talking about a lot as this broadcast goes along.
Coin flip was held last night at the team dinner. Effingham St. Anthony won that toss. The visitors, the Explorers from Alton Marquette. Marquette 27-8 on the season. This is their starting lineup today. Leading it off will be the right fielder Jeffrey Ferguson. He'll be followed by the catcher Nick Schrank. Derek Sterrett, center fielder, bats third. The cleanup hitter is Johnny Wilson. He is the DH, and he'll be doing the hitting for Tommy Anderson, the pitcher. Brogan Fisher bats fifth. He's in left field. Austin Senior is a shortstop, hitting sixth. Batting seventh, it's Carter Hayden, the third baseman. Jack Miller hits in the eighth spot. He's over at first base. And Danny Holtz, the second baseman, bats ninth. And they will have to go up against the man you just mentioned, Ben Hecht.
Ben Hecht, superlative, 10-0, 66 innings pitched, just 35 hits, a diminutive 0.53 earned run average, 67 punch-outs, gets 25 base on balls, just a junior, and he will be a highly sought-after prospect his senior season.
Stepping in to face Hecht to get things started here on a sunny but cool morning in Peoria is Jeffrey Ferguson, the right fielder. Ferguson comes into this ball game, into this tournament, a .356 batting average. Second on the team in doubles with 13. Hecht, the right-hander, goes 2-0. Here's the defense for St. Anthony. The Bulldogs with a 29-8-1 record. Austin Bushers in left, Michael Cabas, the center fielder, Jared Having in right. Neil Williams at third, Reed Willenberg is at shortstop, Jacob Lorenz at second, Charlie Schultz at first. The catcher is Eli Dazenbrock. And Hecht having a hard time finding the strike zone here early.
Just mentioned only 25 free passes on the year. A little bit of state tournament jitters might be in play right now as he pours in a fastball in the automatic 3-0.
Marquette got here in remarkable fashion. We'll talk about their sectional a little bit later, but they defeated Pawnee 5-4 in the super sectional, and they get their leadoff man on aboard with the walk. Well, that sectional, a win over Nokomis 5-4. You say, okay, that's nice, but how about 16 innings worth? They played 13 innings on one day, came back and finished it up, a 16-inning victory. And then the very next day, they turn around and eliminate defending state champion Carrollton with a 7-6 win. This is Nick Schrank. He'll step in against Hecht. Big lead at first base for Ferguson. That pitch is up high as Hecht has missed on 5 of the 6 pitches he's thrown.
You talk about Schrank hitting the 2-hole here. In that 16-inning affair, he scored 4 of their 5 runs. So that's how important it is if he gets his wheels on base.
Takes all the way, evens up the count at 1-1. Schrank, 5'11" 160-pound junior, .390 batting average. He has 25 runs batted in this year, 12 doubles and a home run. Pretty good lead for Ferguson at first. His time is called. Our umpires here in game number 1, Rick Keller behind the plate, Keith Medema's at first, and Scott Russell, our third base umpire. And that will hit Schrank, and the Explorers have something going here early.
Well, when you are based on pitching and defense, and right away your pitching struggles, that puts the defense at a disadvantage. Right now, first and second, you'll have a normal bunt situation, although with Derek Sterrett and his hitting ability, you might not, but good timeout right now by St. Anthony's. You see them meeting on the mound, just trying to make sure they know what bunt defense they could be in, and also just trying to settle down Ben Hecht. They need him to be good. I'm sure he will be, but he just has to gather his mind and thoughts.
Talked about how these two teams, really great pitching staffs. How about St. Anthony? 3 shutouts here in the postseason in their 5 games. The other 2 games, they allowed 2 runs and 1 run. They coming off a 7-0 shutout of Shawnee. That's after defeating Stewart's and Strasburg 13-1, and then South Central 5-0. In the sectional, they opened up tournament play with a 6-0 shutout over Louisville and a 4-2 win over Diederich. And right now, they find themselves a little bit of a jam here early as Derek Sterrett will step in. That will miss up and in.
Anytime you're struggling like Hecht is right now with command of the zone, it seems like home plate tends to shrink on you.
Pickoff throw into center field. The runners will move up. So looking to get an out on the bases results in an error, and all of a sudden Marquette second and third, nobody out.
Now, I have to believe that was a pre-planned play, and what Hecht didn't do is he didn't spin. He went against his lead shoulder. He dropped down, the ball went to the center field, but Michael Cabas, the center fielder, playing very, very deep, was not able to back up that would-be pickoff, and that's why both runners could advance.
Hecht misses away in a breaking ball. The head coach for Marquette, down the third base coach's box, is Joe Silkwood. Silkwood in his 3rd year as the head coach at Marquette, a record of 55 wins and 38 losses. That will find a strike zone, 2-1.
So already you're not just talking about a would-be lead, but the pitch count climbing very early for Hecht in this inning.
3 balls and a strike to Derek Sterrett, 6'4", 220-pound senior, .330 batting average, 13 doubles. Sterrett headed to play football at McKendree. But he takes a big rip. Count goes 3-2.
9 varsity letters athletically for Sterrett. That just showed what kind of versatility he has. Changes from fall to winter to spring, but he's always involved in the action.
Big pitch here early. And that's a called strike 3. Big out for St. Anthony.
Well, he pitched the 3-1 pitch was away. Sterrett was, I think, looking away and got a fastball right in on his hands. Locked him up, couldn't pull the trigger. Big first out for Hecht.
And you see a big man right there, Johnny Wilson. He's going to take his 258 pounds, take an intentional walk down to first base as the head coach for St. Anthony, Kenny Miller, came out of that dugout, take a look at home plate umpire Rick Keller and said, send him down to first.
What that does is creates an opportunity for a force out of home, creates an opportunity for middle infield to turn a double play, makes it much easier on the defense. You're choosing a 5-hitter instead of 4 at the same time.
Base is loaded now for Brogan Fisher, a left fielder, and he'll take a strike from Hecht. Boy, as tough as this inning has been, a walk, a hit batter, a throwing error, and another walk, you're one ground ball away from getting out of it. Infield plays back up the middle. Ball and a strike.
Surprising the outfield depth. They have an awful lot of square footage behind them, playing very shallow. Wisher, Cabas, and Having left, center, and right.
That's a good cut from Fisher, who checks into the tournament with a .341 batting average. Scored 22 runs, knocked in 18. We will see Fisher do some pitching before this weekend is up as well. To the right side, that's inside the line for a base hit. Ferguson scores. Schrank follows him. Motoring into third is Wilson. It's a 2-0 early lead for Marquette.
Excellent job by Brogan Fisher, clapping his hands at first base with that excitement as he kept his hands inside. He basically insided out that baseball and got it right past Charlie Schultz at first base, hugging the right field line but driving in 2 runs. And so they do indeed cash in on the free runners that they were given 2 walks and a hit batsman.
There goes Fisher at first. It's a squeeze. The ball is down. The runner tagged out. Coming home was Johnny Wilson. He's tagged out. The throw to second, not in time. Big out there as the bunt by Austin Senior stayed right there in that right-handed batter's box area, and that made for an easy tag by Dozenbrock on Wilson. Big out at home plate.
They certainly got the squeeze down, and you have Johnny Wilson, not the fastest of foot, if you will, but the butt was down, just very fortuitous bounce as it came right up to Dozenbrock, who had the state of mind to make that tag. He could have maybe got the force out at first as well.
Carter Hayden, the 7th man to bat in this inning, comes to the plate. Hayden, the third baseman for the Explorers. 5'8" freshman, and that nicks his jersey on the way inside. The second hit batter of the inning by Hecht, and for the second time, Marquette has the bases loaded.
Now, to repeat ourselves, Hecht 10-0, 25 walks in 66 innings. He's walked 3, hit 2 in this innings. He came in with a minuscule 0.53 earned runs. He's given up 2, and he's not out of jail yet.
Jack Miller looks at that first pitch. Miller, a junior, a .267 batting average. He has Fisher at third, Senior at second, Hayden at first. Waves at and misses that breaking ball.
Huge time in the game. I know it's only the first inning, but 2-0, 4-0, big difference if Hecht can get out of this.
Good pitch, just missed outside and down.
Great pitchers are able to, as you know, Dave, close the door. And that's what Hecht's job is right now. Stop the bleeding.
Did he get a piece of it? He did. And Dazenbrock comes up with it. And now they'll have a little bit of discussion. Our home plate umpire, Rick Keller, said this inning is over. And that's, well, wait a minute now. Now a conversation with the first base umpire. Was a foul tip. The question was, did Dazenbrock come up with it cleanly, or did it hit the dirt first? St. Anthony has left the field. Marquette base runners back at their bases. Let's take a look and see if we can pick it up.
That definitely found some dirt, and they still go ahead and bring him up, which is the right call by the first base umpire, Keith Medema. If he's not 100% sure, he did not have the aid of a replay that we just had the opportunity to see.
So in the inning, Marquette sends 8 men to the plate, 2 score. There was just 1 hit, the 2 RBI single by Brogan Fisher, couple of walks, 2 hit batters. We'll go to the bottom of the first. Marquette on top, 2-0. St. Anthony down 2-0. This is the lineup they'll send out against Tommy Anderson. Jared Having, the right fielder, lead it off, followed by center fielder Michael Cabas. Ben Heck will be doing the pitching. He's hitting in 3rd spot. Reed Willenberg, the shortstop, hits cleanup. Boston Buscher's the left fielder, hitting 5th. Second baseman Jacob Lorenz in the 6th spot, batting 7th. The third baseman Neil Williams. Eli Dazenbrock behind the plate, batting 8th. And Alex Holscher, the designated hitter, batting for Charlie Schultz, will bat 9th. And they will have to face, for 21, Tommy Anderson.
Tommy Anderson, a junior from the right side, 7-1, 61 1/3 innings pitched, 45 strikeouts, so not overpowering, 19 bases on balls, good command, a nice earned run average of 1.14 for the junior right-hander.
Jared Having will take the first pitch for a strike. Having, one of 3 seniors on this Effingham St. Anthony roster. On the other side, Alton Marquette, just 2 seniors. Having ropes this one to the left side, smothered there by Willenberg. Or make that smothered by Scenery. He didn't have a chance, made an unnecessary throw, and actually catches a break there. That's an infield single for Jared Having on Scenery. Nice dive to keep it in the infield.
Senior did a nice job laying out, then he couldn't find the handle on the baseballs. He went deep in the hole to bat that ball down. Discretion, the better part of valor. He should have hung on to that baseball, but Jack Miller going high in the sky to avert any kind of error, allowing Having to go to second base, where he'll stay on first now with Michael Cabas' job to move him over.
Here's the number 2 of 3 seniors on the team, Michael Cabas. Cabas this season, 6'10", 170-pounder, a .358 batting average, driven in 27 runs. Provides some pop, 6 doubles, couple triples, and 4 home runs. And there goes Having. Base hit left field. Having a full head of steam. He'll head to third. Cabas big turn at first. And the Bulldogs have runners on the corners with nobody out.
So playing hit and run right there. St. Anthony's comes out of the gate on Having's first ability to move towards second base. Cabas knew that, and he still pulled the baseball right down the left field line. Hit and run baseball put on by St. Anthony's, and they got something going, runners in the corners.
Head coach Kenny Miller. His 3rd year, 63 wins, 42 losses, and a tie. 29 of those wins have come this year as Ben Heck stands in and takes the first pitch up high.
St. Anthony just 16-19 last year. They lost the very first game of the regional last year. And here they find themselves in the state semis 1 year later.
Ben Heck, a chance to cut into this 2-0 deficit. .458 hitter, hard and foul down the left field line.
See the kind of hitting ability hitters. The power of a hitter comes from the lower body, the legs, but great upper body hands right there by Heck as he got a fastball and was able to stay on top of it. Just a little bit too much top hand. That's when you find foul balls being pulled down the left field line.
Heck celebrated his 17th birthday yesterday. His brother Anthony playing ball at Arkansas Little Rock.
Ben will have a chance to play some college baseball himself before all said and done.
Through the hole, left side, a lead cut in half. RBI single by Heck. As the Bulldogs from St. Anthony have gone single, single, single to net a run.
Now that was just a superlative piece of hitting by Ben Hecht. We had talked about the previous pitch where he got his hands and hips through the baseball. That time he kept his hands back. Great hitters keep his hands back. That was an off-speed pitch that he didn't overcommit to. Watch the hands stay back. There's the foot goes down, but the hands stay back. It was able to command the barrel of the bat and drive that ball through the infield. If your hands come forward and you're not a disciplined hitter, you can't do that. But Ben Hecht was able to do that. That takes discipline, practice, and repetitions in order to get all those things done.
As we take a look and see the head coach Joe Silkwood on the mound, I'm trying to think back, Mark, the last time that I have seen a visit in the top half of the inning after 2 batters and a visit in the bottom half of the first inning after 3 hitters.
Yeah, very interesting. Both coaches know that they need to settle their pitchers down and stay out of big innings. And, you know, that's the ability that Tommy Anderson's had. You know, he has the ability to stay out of big innings. He doesn't beat himself. He doesn't walk too many people. But St. Anthony's, with 3 consecutive base hits, they're going to just do it with their offensive prowess.
Cleanup hitter Reed Willenberg, the shortstop. Here's your third senior. He'll step in. Nobody out. Runners at first and second. Jared Having came on to score. That single by Heck. Michael Cabas at second. Ben Hecht over at first. Willenborg, 340 hitter, 34 runs batted in. That's second on the team. To the man who'll be following him in the order. That's Austin Busher.
Tommy Anderson has been slower, and slowest with his pitching repertoire right now. He's not going to overpower you, but he has to have pinpoint control. He has to throw some ground balls, which he's done, but 2 ground balls have found holes already in this inning.
Waving at and missing it is Willenborg. Just getting a piece of it. Cool day here in Peoria, 56 degrees. The wind coming out of the northwest at 8 miles per hour. And what does that mean to you? Watching at home, it means the wind is blowing from the left field foul pole to the right field pole. As you can see, we're playing under sunny skies. Runners go. Little hit and run to the right side and looped into right field by Willenborg. And this game is tied as Cabas comes around to score. 4 straight singles by St. Anthony. Nobody out, first and third in a 2-2 game in the bottom of the first.
Kenny Miller comes out rolling the dice, 7-11. He's hit them both. Very unorthodox as far as baseball, playing by the book. Hit and run with your 4-hitter right there. He did just that, both runners going. And we had just talked about the ability to hit, keeping your hand back. Willenborg did just that as he just looped that ball over the second baseman, Danny Holt's head. And a great piece of hitting and moving the defense right now is Kenny Miller from St. Anthony, making a lot of things happen on the bases.
I think we're going to get some changes here as Joe Silkwood is out talking to the home plate umpire, and indeed we are. Marquette not wasting much time. Heading out to left field will be Andrew Sanders, the left fielder. Brogan Fisher slides over to center. Derek Sterrett is going to head down into the bullpen for Marquette. So Sterrett, the center fielder, goes to the bullpen. Fisher to left, or Fisher to center rather. And Andrew Sanders into left field.
So got the bullpen going early on. Have to get Sterrett off the field to get him down to the pen. And there won't be much time for Tommy Anderson now. It's going to be like 10, 12 pitches down in the bullpen for Sterrett, and then he would be brought in if need be.
And this is Austin Busher at the plate, and he takes one off the helmet to load the bases. Well, would you say this is 10 o'clock in the morning nerves here with these two teams?
I'll tell you what, this is in the exact opposite end of the continuum as what we had anticipated. We had anticipated dominating pitching and defense. Instead, we have had a plethora of runners already. We've had walks, we've had hit batsmen, we've had base hits. The offense has been solid for both teams. The pitching has been less than solid on both sides thus far. I see Nick Schrank, the catcher, out there just trying to buy some time. He's trying to give Sterrett more time to throw right now.
Sterrett's working quickly down in that right field bullpen, but right now it's on the back of number 21, Tommy Anderson. He has the bases loaded, nobody out, 2 runs in. Number 6 hitter in the lineup, Jacob Lorenz, freshman second baseman, will come to the plate.
If we had a chance to get a shot of Sterrett down in the bullpen at some point, this has always amazed me, high school young men, how they wind up in the bullpen to get ready to pitch with runners on base. They should be from the set.
First pitch swinging. Senior gets the out at second. That's the best they can do. The ball gets thrown away. 1 run scores on the ground out. Another one keeps on coming. It's a 4-2 St. Anthony lead.
So you put the ball in play, good things could happen. That looked like a would-be double play ball. Instead, Danny Holtz, the second baseman, a freshman, short hopped his first baseman, Jack Miller, couldn't pick it up. Holtz was put into that position because of an injury to the second baseman, Stephen Putermaw, who was hurt on a skateboard incident earlier on. And threw that one right past the first baseman, Jack Miller.
This is not how the Explorers wanted this bottom half of the first inning to go after taking a quick 2-0 lead in the top half. That looks like that's going to be it for Anderson. Single, 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 hit batter. Then a fielder's choice combined with an error have given St. Anthony 4 runs here in the bottom of the first inning. And Sterrett comes into the ball game.
We thought we might not see 6 runs this entire game. We have them with still only 1 out in the bottom of the first inning. Sterrett's numbers look something like this. He's 2-3 on the season, 30 innings pitched, 29 hits, so people have moved the baseball against him. Has 37 punch-outs, 22 walks, 17 earned runs. That computes to a 3.97 earned run average.
Now Andrew Sanders will come off because Sterrett is in that spot in the order. So for Sanders, he went into left field. He gets his name in the scorebook, but his baseball day is over after having played about 2 batters worth of defense out there. Still waiting on the left fielder, I would do make his way out there as Sterrett takes his warm-up tosses.
Well, right now, Marquette just needs to stop the bleeding. It's already a big inning, but you cannot prolong the agony. It's easy chasing 2 or 3 early on in the baseball game, but you can't chase 5 or 6. They got to stop this from being a huge inning for St. Anthony right now.
It will be Nick Hofert who will head out to left field for Marquette. Hofert will be in the 4th spot in the order. However, he is being hit for by the designated hitter, Johnny Wilson. Here's Sterrett's first pitch to Neil Williams, the third baseman. Number 7 man to bat in the inning. A runner at second is Jacob Lorenz. To the left side, Senior gets the good hop. And the good throw for out number 2 as Lorenz moves up a base. That will bring us to Eli Dozenbrock. Marquette batted 8 people in the top half of this inning. This is St. Anthony's number 8 batter right here, Dozenbrock. Sophomore catcher, 6'3", 186, a 267 batting average.
Big young man for just a sophomore.
He'll take that pitch for a strike. Runners in motion, some hitting and running. That's when you were trailing 2-0. That's opened up this game. A little late on that pitch up and in.
Tied him up on the inner part. You want to move a hitter's eyes in and out, up and down. So he went in and in. See if he stays in or moves the outer edge.
Down and away and miss. Well, the new left fielder, Nick Hofer, hasn't gotten the memo that we're playing a little bit shallower today. He's deep in left field. Again, a crosswind about 9 miles per hour from left to right. Staird's pitch, and that's a called strike 3, and that will bring this inning to a close. However, 4 runs, 4 hits, first 4 batters getting hits. Throw in an error, a man left, and not only did they match the 2, they added 2. Effingham, St. Anthony after 1, 4-2 over Alton Marquette. Couple of teams that hang their hat on defense and pitching. A little bit shell-shocked here after 1. There you see the line. 6 runs, 5 hits, and a couple of errors. So maybe after when we played about 20 minutes, a little bit more, maybe 30 minutes of baseball in the first inning, Mark, maybe things can settle down here as we head to the second.
Well, and I'll top your little line right there by throwing in the 3 base on balls and 3 hit batsmen in that inning as well.
There you go.
6 free runners. And all we saw was an awful lot of action for inning number 1.
We'll start the second inning with Danny Holtz stepping in. Holtz, Mark mentioned earlier, freshman second baseman, all of a sudden thrown into the fire here in state tournament play. Ben Hecht with new life gets a 1-hopper right back at him. You know, and getting those 4 runs after you were shaky in the first inning, your team comes back, gets you 4, you can kind of come out to that mound with a little bit more swagger there in the second inning.
Well, there's no doubt that the relationship between a pitcher and his teammates is one that there should be some symmetry. What I mean by that is there's a lot of times I guarantee you that Ben Hecht has really picked up his team, i.e., 1-0 games, 2-1 games, those things. In this situation, his team just picked him up big time. They get back on the board, they know their ace struggle, but they throw 4 up and give him a lead.
Jeffrey Ferguson back up again, the leadoff hitter in this game. Started it all with the walk. He eventually scored on the 2-run single by Brogan Fisher. 1-1 pitch. Fans decked out in blue. Those would be your Alton Marquette fans. The red belongs to St. Anthony, and the count goes to 2-2.
A bit of a slider right there. Now, a curveball goes down 12-6. This one's cutting across. Cutter slider, well, he throws that with good velocity.
To the left side, and a good hop this time for the third baseman, Neil Williams. 2 up, 2 down.
I'm not sure exactly for St. Anthony who calls pitches, if it's coming from the dugout or if it's coming from the sophomore Eli Dossenbach, but I would say at this point Ben Hecht has actually shook off maybe 6 or 8 pitches already through the first 5 outs of this game, so somehow he's got a feel for what he wants to do, but he's got to get in sync with his catcher and or coach so they're on the same page, because you don't want that many people involved in the thought process.
With 2 outs, Nick Schrank, 1 ball, no strikes. Now 2-0 to Schrank. He was hit by a pitch and scored on that single by Fisher. Hecht working a little bit quicker here this inning. 2 balls and a strike. Hecht, as we said, came into this game with a 0.53 earned run average over the course of 66 innings.
And you and I, great minds think alike. I was picking up on the same thing. There was 7.4 seconds between the 2 pitches, and now he's delivered this one in 7.2 seconds. So he is get it and throwing it. That's the way you want to have rhythm with your catcher, with your defense, and he has really picked up the pace, which allows everybody to be that much more alert defensively.
Here's the 2-2. In the air. The wind will push it into foul territory, and a nice snag there by Charlie Schultz to close out this inning. Well, a far cry from the top half of the first. Here in the second, Explorers from Marquette go up and down in order, and we'll head to the second. St. Anthony on top, 4-2. Sunny skies, got some clouds in the area, but we do not expect any weather problems today. It's about 60 degrees on a wonderful day here in downtown Peoria. Your 1A semifinals. Effingham, St. Anthony, Alton, Marquette. Glad you've joined us on IHSA.tv. I'm Dave Bernhardt along with Mark Lindo. And as we go to the bottom of the second, the only man who did not bat for St. Anthony, Alex Holscher, steps in. He's the designated hitter today, batting for the first baseman, Charlie Schultz.
Holscher's 253 in the 9-hole. I really like his approach here, sitting first ball fastball against Starr, but just been able to get it.
Well, as important as the top half of the inning was for Ben Hecht and St. Anthony, it's just as important here now for Marquette to settle this game down, as this ball is hit hard to right field. And a diving catch in the right field corner by Jeffrey Ferguson. That wind just kept blowing it to the line. And what looked to be a routine play when the ball left the bat, Ferguson makes a highlight reel out of it.
Good job by Ferguson. Good piece of hitting by Holscher, who took that outside fastball, and he just hit it on a rope to right field, but Ferguson stayed with it. The old adage and the fundamental mental part of the game is a ball to the line goes to the line. So that ball kept going away from Ferguson, but he stayed with it, got his glove up at just the last second, and saved a would-be double or triple in the leadoff batter of inning number 2.
And here's the leadoff man in the order for St. Anthony, Jared Having. He got things started for the Bulldogs with a base hit his first time up, and he's going to match it right here. So Having 2 for 2.
He come in hitting .311, but he looks like he has a really good vision for the baseball today. He is one of 5 guys that St. Anthony's coach Kenny Miller gives the green light to. So we saw a hit and run earlier. I don't know if it was hit and run or if it was just a run and hit, because Having's got the green light. He is indeed their best base stealer.
The plate, Michael Cabas. He was the man that singled Having around to third the first time up, as Schrank had a little bit of a notion there to throw down to first base. Having had himself a good lead and a good secondary lead.
So this is a time now where Starrett's got to mix up his delivery toward home plate, mix up his lead leg, whether it be a slide step or step off, what have you.
To the right side, second baseman Holtz will get the out at first. Having moves to second, 2 gone in the inning. So each of the 2 men who have put the bat on the ball with outs have gone to the right side. Having's base hit went to left field, and that will bring up Ben Hecht. He drove in a run in the first inning with the third of 4 consecutive singles.
See a good picture of Having on second base there. What a base runner does anytime he moves from station to station to station is he should turn and check the outfield. Know where your defense is at so you can anticipate where you're going to run to and how much space that you have to work with.
Nice job by Schrank to smother that breaking ball from Starrett.
Anytime a catcher like Schrank is able to block a ball like that, it makes your pitcher that much more confident that he can throw the breaking ball down into the dirt where you get strikes and have that confidence in his catcher.
Bouncer foul. Well, after that first pitch, it was a breaking ball. The left fielder and center fielder, in this case Nick Hofer in left and Brogan Fisher in center, both became shaded more towards the left field line, which is pretty much an indication that they're going to go off speed here with the number 3 hitter in the St. Anthony lineup, Ben Hecht.
Huge gap in both left center and right center. Both gap alleys wide open.
Right fielder.
See a good picture of it there.
There's Fisher lined up well to the left of that 400-foot sign. 3:10 down the lines here at O'Brien Field in Peoria. 2-1 count for Hecht. He watches that right into the glove of Schrank for strike 2. So Starrick with the runner in scoring position. His team's down 4-2, needs a pitch here on Hecht. To the left side, the third baseman. Boy, you just about tag Having there. The ball is thrown low. The error will go to the third baseman, Carter Hayden. And what could have been an easy out on 2 different ways of making it happen results in first and third here for St. Anthony.
Well, Carter Hayden did a good job blocking that baseball with Having running right at him. So he was able to keep his focus at that juncture. But then whether it be his other infielders communicating with him or not. He had a tag on Having about 6 inches from him. Instead, threw the ball across the diamond and short hopped it to Jack Miller. It keeps the inning alive on the E5 throwing error.
That will bring up the cleanup hitter, Reed Willenborg. RBI single in the first. He also scored a run. There goes Hecht, kind of trots down to second base. Stolen base for Hecht. They're trying to bait the Explorers into throwing the ball around a little bit. But now Willenborg looks up, and he has runners at second and third. Starrett from the wind. The big open stance, Willenborg pulls off of that breaking ball.
Now, I believe already that Ben Hecht at second base, and now you see the pitcher and catcher Schrank and Starrett talking. There is not a doubt in my mind that Hecht didn't call that pitch from second base. He went one swipe across his chest, and Willenborg was able to know what pitch was coming, although he didn't hit it. Pitcher and catcher picked up exactly what I did on, and I'm sure just went and changed signs.
1 ball, 1 strike, 2 gone. Willenborg checks it up, but it's called in the outside corner.
Now we saw Hecht. Hecht is giving signs on every pitch. And what he's doing that for right now from second base, if we can see him, number 5, you'll see him moving. Whether he has it or not, he's indicating to his hitter that I'm going to have it at some point.
Big pitch by Starrett, big sweeping breaking ball, and Willenborg will go down on strikes. This inning got started in a big way. Jeffrey Ferguson laying out. No runs in the inning for St. Anthony. Will go to the second, a 4-2 lead for the Bulldogs.
First Webb gem of the tournament.
Clouds have started to thicken up here in Peoria. Crowd building, however, and they'll get set for our second 1A game immediately following this. We hope you can join us for that as well. Be an interesting one. Be a fun one to watch. Lena Winslow takes on Tuscola. That will be interesting in many different ways from a baseball perspective, but there's some football history between those two teams as well as immediate football history. So that'll be a personal grudge match, so to speak. More about that when we get to that particular ball game, but we've got to take care of some business here first. Top of the third inning. Marquette picked up the early 2-0 lead, only to see St. Anthony score 4 times in the bottom of the first. Leading it off here in the third will be the man who started in center field, now doing the pitching, Derek Starrett. He's followed by Johnny Wilson and Brogan Fisher. Starrett struck out looking against Hecht his first time up, and very quickly he's down to count 0-2.
Hecht looks like a completely different pitcher that we saw at 10:05 this morning. Right now he's confident, he's got a swagger, he's much more compact, he's staying close with his front side, getting through the baseball, and he has great command of everything right now. It all starts with your landing point of your lead foot and then your lead shoulder staying closed. He was flying open in the first inning. Right now everything's tight and compact.
Just getting a piece of it is Starrett as Dazenbrock bounces up. Good cut by Starrett, stays alive.
I think one of the joys of baseball is the pitcher. Pitcher's mechanics have to be pinpoint. The hitter's mechanics have to be pinpoint. And that makes the game of baseball very special. You can get away without great mechanics if you're making a block on the football field or kicking a soccer ball, what have you. You really can. And you can play defense or rebound without great mechanics in basketball. But the pitcher and hitter, you have to have everything in perfect symmetry.
Protecting on 2-2, and it's good for a base hit. Starrett just went down there, got it, flipped it out into right field. Second hit of the day for Marquette. The leadoff man is on.
Starrett with a good at-bat. Quality at-bats are what coaches are looking for. He had about 3 or 4 balls in that segment, took 2 balls right off the edge, and that was a quality pitch by Ben Hecht on the outer edge, going down, changing planes, but staying with that was Starrett, who just, as you said, flipped that ball into right field, hit it where it was pitched. Prototype hitting right there by Ben Hecht, or by Derek Starrett.
Now Johnny Wilson will get a chance to swing the bat for the first time. The cleanup hitter was intentionally walked his first time up. He was eventually tagged out at home plate on a squeeze attempt. He'll take his first pitch down into the dirt. Wilson, 6 feet, 258 pounds, a .396 batting average, 35 runs batted in. That leads Marquette. Big cut, fouls it off. Let's see what Heck's pace is like now he gets a runner back on base. Short lead by Sterrett at first. Check it up. Ask, and he did. 2-1. Get a look at Johnny Wilson's socks. Going old school on us. Jam shot. He'll foul this one out of play into the stands.
Tell you what, Wilson gets his money's worth when he takes his hacks, doesn't he? I gotta love that. That's like the old Boston Red Sox, except for those are blue, of course. But the old-time stirrups. That's back in your day.
It is. I just always had to decide, was I going to bring the pants to the second or third stripe? I never knew what I really wanted to do.
Now, when you played, did you tuck your pants under the stirrups and roll them up like that?
I had various ways I did it various times, but yes, that was one of them, yeah.
I used to do that, and then it cut off my circulations. Maybe that's what stunted my growth, why I'm only like 5'9" and shrinking.
Called strike 3. Wilson looked at a fastball. That's the third strikeout for Heck. That's the first out in the third inning.
Well, that's about location right there, as he just painted the outer edge. And unable to pull the trigger was Johnny Wilson. Might have been looking for something else. 2 strikes, you can't do that. Pretty good at bat until he didn't pull the trigger on strike 3.
Now the man who knocked in the first 2 runs of the game, Fisher at the plate, fakes a bunt, and tagged out stealing is Sterrett. He was gone easily on the throw from Dazenbrock.
That was a great job by Dazenbrock, who got up out of the crouch in a hurry. Quick release, didn't have the watch on him, but he also had that ball going toward the second base side, toward Sterrett was going to slide into. Easy tag supplied, and a nice job and a message sent right there by St. Anthony.
So head coach Joe Silkwood for Alton Marquette looking to put some people in motion for Fisher, but instead it's 2 quick outs now. A count 2-0 to Fisher.
And for people watching right now, trying to wonder what were they going to bunt for with 1 out, that was not a bunt. That was a fake bunt or a show-me bunt to try to help the runner steal that base.
Four pitches and a walk to Fisher. And of course, now all the Marquette fans would look back and say, oh, why did we try that stolen base?
And to take that one more step, a lot of times when you have somebody out stealing an inning, coaches become less aggressive and they don't want to make another out on the bases. But if you think Fisher can steal a base, you got to continue to give him a green light, because you have to stay within your game plan and stay aggressive and keep pressuring the defense, especially with 2 outs now.
Average lead at first. At the plate is Austin Senior. Senior attempted that squeeze bunt that ended up staying right at home plate and enabled Dazenbrock to tag out Wilson coming down from third base.
So you talk about Fisher right now on first base. You called it a very average lead. You might be too complimentary there. That's a very small lead, and he's doing a pretty good job of the secondary, but I'm just really surprised they're not putting him back in motion.
On 1 hop to Williams, an easy play closes out this inning. So a single at the top of the inning, wiped out with the caught stealing, and we will go to the bottom of the third with a 4-2 St. Anthony lead. This game has settled down just a bit here as we go to the bottom of the third inning. 6 runs in the first inning. We've been scoreless the last inning and a half. Starting it off here in the bottom of the third for St. Anthony Bulldogs, Austin Busher. Busher, one of 3 batters who was hit by a pitch in the first inning, and he'll take a strike. Number 5 hitter in the lineup, the left fielder, a sophomore for head coach Kenny Miller.
6 home runs on the season 40 RBIs. He's not that big of a body, a physical specimen, but obviously able to drive the baseball. 6 home runs for anybody is a lot, but especially for a superlative sophomore.
Busher had a 3-run homer in the Super Sectional. That was a 7-0 win over Shawnee. It was part of the Marion Super Sectional. St. Anthony, along with Marquette, beneficiaries, as this is a line drive base hit. Busher will start this inning with a single. That will be the 6th hit of the day for St. Anthony. Well, both of these two teams, beneficiaries of the new IHSA rule this year. They are both private schools, and of course, subject to the multiplier that we've been in existence for many years. However, just enacted this past summer was if you have had limited success, and that's defined in terms of winning regional titles, if you've had limited success in a particular sport, then the multiplier is waived and you go to your actual enrollment. So both these two schools in previous years have been 2A programs because of the multiplier. The multiplier gets taken away because of lack of regional success, and now here they sit in Class 1A. We'll see that also with Normal U High in Class 2A.
Both of these schools lost in regional play last year, so in the regional quarterfinal, St. Anthony's beaten the very first game of the tournament in 2011, and Marquette was beat last year by Metro East Lutheran.
Stolen base attempt, not going to work for Busher. He's gunned down by Nick Schrank. So here in the 3rd inning, both catchers, Eli Dazenbrock and now Nick Schrank, have gunned down runners attempting to steal at second base.
You see Schrank up and out of his crouch. He got a good pitch to work with. There was a curveball that didn't do too much, stayed up, and again, he drove that ball down. A nice play by Austin Senior, who came up, got the ball, and took this tag straight down, right into the sliding Austin Busher.
Jacob Lorenz at the plate. Reached on a fielder's choice. His first time up, and as we saw in the top half of the inning, a caught stealing followed by a walk.
Coach's worst nightmares. And we talked about the top of the inning. If you're going to run, you're going to stay aggressive. Now you have to continue to stay aggressive. You can't let one out stealing take away your game plan if your game plan is to let your guys run and do some creative things on the bases.
Neil Williams bounced out to short his first time up. He was the first batter that Derek Sterrett faced as he came on in relief. Sterrett got the 2 batters he needed to get when he came in the first inning to stop the bleeding and limit St. Anthony to just 4 runs. Schrank will keep that one in front of him. Pretty good lead over at first base for Lorenz.
Well, we've seen 2 out stealings in this 3rd inning. One in the top half, and then Busher just thrown out there. To throw a runner out, you have to have the pitcher getting the ball to the catcher in time, the catcher having a solid throw with a proper time, and then the good tag by the middle infielder. So to nail a guy, you have to have fundamental baseball by at least 3 different defenders.
Lorenz takes a little creeping lead at first. He'll stay. Jam shot to the right side. First baseman Miller, he'll just go with the tag on Williams for the second out as Lorenz will move to second. And Eli Dazenbrock will come to the plate, struck out looking. That ended the first inning for St. Anthony after they plated their 4 runs.
It was a different pitch by Derek Sterrett. I don't think he got the break that he wanted to on that baseball. It was almost like a backdoor curveball. What happened is Neil Williams, it was in his hands, it didn't break, so he really couldn't do anything with it. Had to swing very defensively.
Eli Dazenbrock, 6'3", 186. 16-year-old sophomore. Both these teams very young. Only 3 seniors for St. Anthony, only 2 on the roster for Marquette. So here in 2012, when we have had no teams return from last year, take a look at the youth here on the field right now, you might say, hey, maybe next year we might do something, as Sterrett has just balked a runner to third base.
What Sterrett did there is he did not pause or come to what the umpire The rule is a discernible stop. So he never went to the set position and made a stop. The umpire called the balk proper fashion.
2 balls and 1 strike now to Dazenbrock with 2 outs.
You realize we've seen hits, hit batsmen, walks, balks, suicide squeezes, great plays, base hits, stolen bases, out stealing. We've seen an awful lot of action for 3 innings. What have I missed?
Yeah, you are right. Just about anything you could put in a scorebook is already in it. Pitch to Dazenbrock, and he'll look at that one up high. Second walk of the inning now. Effingham St. Anthony a chance to play games with runners on first and third and 2 outs.
First and third, a huge offensive weapon in high school baseball. College, not so much. Major leagues, not at all. But high school baseball, to put the pressure on a catcher and then on a middle infielder to get the ball from second base back to home on a would-be double steal is immense. Great teams can negate first and third offense. Tough teams that are not able to just usually give up the stolen base, and then it's a 2 RBI situation.
At the plate now is Alex Holscher. Last time up, he hit a line drive down the right field line that right fielder Jeffrey Ferguson laid out completely. He made a great catch. There's some talk that that particular play may be eliminated from viability and become a balk. But as of right now, it is not the fake to third, or not even throw to first, but the fake to third. I've always been a proponent of that. I never understood why first base is the only sacred base that you can do those things.
I understand that. I think the fake to third, move back to first, it's so much in vogue over the last few years that you don't get advantage of it very much.
There goes the runner, Dazenbrock. He'll get credit for a stolen base. Marquette had no intention of making a play on him. They'll just make it a battle between Sterrett and Holscher. Right now, the count in the batter's favor, 2-1. 2 runners on, a 4-2 lead for Effingham St. Anthony. A base hit could stretch that lead to 4. And Sterrett struggling here in the third. 3 balls and a strike.
Bottom line is, at this point, he has not given up a run, and that's the key to this inning, is can he still get out of it unscathed?
His third walk of the inning. Well, you look back at that caught stealing by Schrank. That's a big play right now as Sterrett, frustration.
Yeah, a little body language issue right there for Sterrett, who had been in command of this game until this inning, and his catcher, Schrank, is telling him right now, settle down. They've got no runs up on the board. Keep us in. It's his job right now to pick himself up, pick his teammates up. It's now a thought process. He's got to be thinking good thoughts rather than looking back at the previous batter. Hey, I just walked a guy.
At the plate now, Having. He's 2 for 2. And you see that body language continuing. And also observing that is his head coach, Joe Silkwood, who makes a slow walk to the mound.
And it's been interesting to watch Sterrett throughout his innings of work, because anytime there's a man on, anytime there's not a force-out situation, he is performing and pitching from the windup. And obviously that's the way he feels more comfortable. Many times a coach will take that comfortability away and say, you have to pitch from the stretch, because I'm sure we'll be able to get a shot of the base runners in this situation. You'll see the runners on second and first, especially with huge leadoffs. Now that takes away any kind of would-be force out, and it also allows an extra 20, 25 feet to score a run on a ball to the outfield. So both the runners at second and first, Dazenbrock and Holscher, getting opportunity for huge leadoffs as long as Sterrett stays in the windup.
Here's the 1-0 count to Having. And now 2-0. We're in the bottom of the third inning. 2 outs. 3 people have reached by way of walk in this inning. Bases are loaded. This is one of those turning points in a game. Having swinging on 2-0, had a pretty good cut.
And because of the leadoff that we just talked about, you might see some kind of pickoff play. Holtz for that big leadoff first. See if Schrenk comes up and throws to Jack Miller at first base, who's creeping up just a little bit right now.
Good pitch on the outside corner.
And a solid frame by Schrenk. You see him pull that ball right back in toward home plate.
The 2-2. Nearly got Having to bite. Good job by Schrenk to save a run. And now everybody's on the move. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. The base is loaded. Lorenz at third, Dazenbrock at second, Holscher at first. Jared Having at the plate, the senior right fielder.
Now he goes from the set to negate any kind of running start.
And that's a called third strike. So Sterrett comes up with a big pitch when they needed it the most. He walks 3, he strands 3. No runs in. We'll head to the 4th. A 4-2 lead for St. Anthony over Marquette. Top of the 4th inning we go. Dave Bernhardt, Mark Lindo with you. Effingham, St. Anthony. Alton, Marquette. St. Anthony making their 6th appearance in the state finals. 4th place finish in 91. 3rd in 1992 for Marquette. It's the 8th time they've been to the finals. They have 2 state championships, one in 1980 and one in 1984, along with a 2nd place finish in 88, as this first pitch is grounded out to the second baseman. 1 pitch, 1 out.
And they beat our Aurora Central team in the 84 state championship 7-4, so I remember that one well. Chargers had a 4-3 lead, made 2 errors on the infield in that game, and Greg DeCourcy's team took home the big trophy. Greg DeCourcy, the legendary coach, I believe, brought like 6 teams to the state finals. If I'm right, he's actually has come back and is a volunteer coach. Doesn't want his name in the program, so you won't find it in there, but comes back and just kind of stays behind the scenes and actually working with all the players, but especially at lower levels. Pretty neat thing by Greg DeCourcy, who's now a school administrator.
After that ground out by Carter Hayden, Jack Miller comes to the plate. Miller struck out swinging, the 2nd of 3 strikeouts for Hecht. He'll foul this one away, the count 1-2. We have a little bit of history as well with St. Anthony as far as state tournament, meeting these 2 teams down in your reign there at Aurora Central Catholic.
Yeah, we played St. Anthony in the state semifinals. Dave Bartlett was the coach. Took a couple teams to the state tournament. Dave did a great job. He's moved on. He's the athletic director at Macomb High School, western part of Illinois. So we played them in the state semifinals, and we were able to win that one 7-1 and win the state tournament against state title against Beecher City that same night down in Springfield.
Another called third is the 4th strikeout of the game for Ben Hecht, and since he had those struggles in the 1st inning, he has been solid. First 2 men up here gone here in the top of the 4th inning. Time of possession in this game offensively has definitely belonged to Effingham St. Anthony. Hecht combining his quick work with efficient work. We haven't seen too many white jerseys come to that plate.
St. Anthony will have a welcome home back at their school community at 1 o'clock on Sunday, regardless of whether it's a 1st, 2nd, 3rd, or 4th place finish. They're going to bring home some state hardware back to Effingham.
Danny Holtz at the plate, 2-0 to him. Count goes 3-0. Marquette tied for the championship of the South Central West Conference with a 9-4 record. That's after starting the season 0-3. In fact, their goals coming into the year was to win the South Central, win 20 games, and go to state. Mission accomplished.
Got the trifecta, come into this semifinal with 9 consecutive wins, shooting for number 10 here this morning.
And a 3-2 count. Danny Holtz will look at this one wide, and he will head down to first base with the 4th walk of the game for Hecht, and that turns the order back on top to Jeffrey Ferguson.
Effingham St. Anthony gives up only 2.5 runs per game on an average. So right now Marquette with 2, but with St. Anthony having 4 on the board, they got to feel pretty good about Hecht being on the hill right now. Good feet right there by Hecht, knocking down the runner Holtz, and we'll shorten his lead just a bit right now.
And another attempt. This play by Schultz over at first base to snag that one.
You know, high school baseball, Dave, how offenses can blow up, so to speak. 38 games by Effingham St. Anthony. Only one time has an opponent scored more than 5 runs. That's just unreal.
Yeah, they play a good schedule. I don't care who you play. You got those numbers, you're feeling pretty good. And that's why you look up the scoreboard and you see that you have 4 runs on your side of the board. You like the feel of that.
That's why Kenny Miller says we play 1-run baseball. Why not? Every run is huge for them. When you have a pitching staff, you can almost put people away with a 3- and 4-run lead.
Boy, they are really aware of the runner at first, Danny Holtz, and they get him. Holtz didn't even have a chance to go down. The quickness of Hecht. So add that to your list of things we've seen in this ball game today. A pickoff. Here it is.
All about the feet, the quick delivery, and hung out to dry was Danny Holtz. He couldn't find his way back to first base.
That finishes off the top half of the 4th inning. Halfway home here in your Class 1A semifinal. A 2-run lead standing up for the Bulldogs from St. Anthony.
1, 2, 3, go!
New pitcher for Marquette as we go to the bottom of the 4th inning. Sliding over from third base will be Carter Hayden. Hayden on in relief of Derek Sterrett. Sterrett did his job, not without a few white knuckles there in the last inning, but went 2 2/3 scoreless innings, keep his team in the ball game. First batter Hayden will face Michael Cabas, 1 for 2 today, a single and a run scored in the first inning.
Hayden 5'8", 150, a freshman, 3-0 record.
Bounces that pitch in.
Just 22 1/3 innings pitch. He's given up just 11 hits. Pretty solid there. 15 base on balls. That's been an issue against just 12 strikeouts. A solid ERA of 2.51 for the freshman, who they think is going to be, quote unquote, a good one. That's what Joe Silkwood thinks of this fine freshman.
Well, defensive changes as part of this switch with Hayden coming in. We'll give them to you after this pitch. To the right side. Good job by first baseman Jack Miller to smother that one. So 1 man up, 1 man down here in the 4th. So Hayden moves from third base into pitcher. Danny Holtz goes from second base. He'll head over to third. Brian Fisher, who had been the center fielder for Marquette, will come in and play second. And Derek Sterrett will go from the mound back out to center field. That's where he started today's ball game for the Explorers. So everybody stays in their spots in the order, just some shuffling defensively. So right now the defense for Marquette, Nick Hofer in left, Derek Sterrett in center, Jeffrey Ferguson's in right. Here's the pitch to Ben Hecht. Strike called as infield becomes Danny Holtz, Austin Senior, Brian Fisher, and Jack Miller, third to first. The catcher remains Nick Schrenk. Carter Hayden, the third pitcher today for Joe Silkwood. 2 balls and a strike now to Hecht. Hecht has been on base twice, singled, drove in a run, and eventually scored in the first inning. Reached on an error in the second. To the left side, Senior will get the kind hop. Better hurry. That's a close play at first base, and it's an error. Well, Senior took his time getting it, and he will be charged with an error.
Just a little bit too much time. Didn't measure his stroke correctly. A little bit too much thought process instead of reactive thought process. Ground ball pitched as a pitch went down into the dirt. A lot of time, squared off his back foot, but just dropped down, didn't get through the baseball. Probably took a little bit too much time. And the 4th error of the game, the 3rd by Marquette.
Brings up Reed Willenborg. Second baseman Brogan Fisher shaded towards the bag, anticipating a steal attempt from Hecht, who already has a stolen base today.
Willenborg hitting in the 4-hole. Fine basketball player. He'll be going to Lincoln Land College, where he'll be a hoopster. But finishing off his baseball career, there'll be a medallion around his neck sometime tomorrow morning.
Misses outside. Willenborg, the 1 and 1A of the pitching staff, along with Ben Hecht here for Kenny Miller. And Miller says those two fellas, Hecht and Willenberg, get together and they kind of decide who's going to pitch.
Yeah,
they just decided Hecht was going to pitch this game.
Yeah, Coach Miller said, yeah, Ben decided he wanted to pitch tomorrow. It sounded kind of strange, but they're 1-1A, so they kind of work things out. Ben's got the ball and he's throwing a few zeros up in a row here since a shaky first inning.
I thought it was also somewhat interesting. It sounds like Hecht has the final say on this because Willenberg, he's 8-5 in a season on the mound, and he just seems like he's faced the tougher teams. And so I think Hecht kind of claims what he wants to claim. Willenberg, though, in 4 of his 5 losses, here's a ground ball, it's fouled off. He gets it off his foot. Willenberg has 5 losses. In 4 of them, St. Anthony has scored a total of just 3 runs. Yeah. So no matter what game St. Anthony's playing in tomorrow, you're going to see Reed Willenberg. You'll see another one of these good pitchers. He'll have to shake off that one that's stinging right now.
And, unless he needs to close this game today, you'll see Willenberg, because they would use him that way if need be. You got to get there first. But, that's incredible. That's like Ryan Dempster with the Cubs. Has been throwing 0-1, 1-1 games, 2-run games, and has nothing to show for it. Watch the long leg of the freshman Carter Hayden. It takes an awful long time for him to get the ball to home plate. We'll get a clock on it.
There goes Hecht. Foul ball right back off. Our windows that are closed.
If it was open, I think I'd have ice on my head now. Or you would have to pick me up off the floor.
There we are. Here we go.
Oh, my goodness.
We're safe. We're good.
So you see St. Anthony's trying to run right now with Hecht. That was 1.43 for Carter Hayden to get into home. I'll put the watch on him again. You want to be under 1-2 if you're a pitcher. Now, 0.2 of a second for people watching the game, that is the pitcher's job, and he's got to be much more efficient if he's going to give his catcher, Nick Schrank, a chance. Watch how high he's going to lift his leg on this delivery.
Called strike 3. We've had a few of those today. Willenberg goes down for the second time today as Hayden picks up his first strikeout, second out of the inning.
And that was 1.4 to home. Obviously, Hayden more concerned about his pitch than he is the runner. But I flat out guarantee you will see Hecht in motion again somewhere very early in this sequence, playing a little run and hit, not hit and run, but run and hit with Austin Busher.
Busher, a very upright stance. Hecht stays. Hayden's pitch outside. You see on the jerseys of St. Anthony that they also have it on their cap with the halo around it, much like the old California Angels. Well, that's what St. Anthony wore in the middle 80s. They're bringing it back. There's a stolen base attempt. Hecht will get the stolen base ball to center field. He can't go anywhere. Second stolen base of this game for Hecht. So both schools playing a little bit of old school. We talked about the stirrups for Marquette. The Angels logo, even though the nickname is Bulldogs for St. Anthony. There's your stirrups. That's the day you just frame that picture and then you guess, 20 years from now, what era was this ball game played in?
Yeah, and if that was green and white, that would be the Oakland Athletics, because the white shoes, too, that Charlie O'Finley brought into play back in those days.
Pitch to Busher. Skies it, and this will be fouled out of play. Had a pleasure of chatting with Charlie Finley one time. It was after his baseball days were over with Oakland, and he was trying to get a new football in that was multicolored. And, a brown and gold is basically what it was, just to see better at night and just see better. So he was out promoting it. They used it in a particular football game I was announcing, and actually before the ball game they had a little dinner, and I was able to sit at the little 4-person table with Charlie Finley.
What a neat experience.
Oh, gosh.
He was
fascinating man.
Very innovative owner. He and Bill Veck, of course.
Ball in the dirt, and Hecht, very much aware, will advance to third on the wild pitch. So there is Hecht. He was at first moments ago. A stolen base and a wild pitch puts him at third. 2 outs here for Busher, and the count 3-1. Marquette does not want to go first and third here, but they will. Hayden with his first walk. Remember, Hecht reached on an error. So now you've got runners at first and third. Jacob Lorenz, freshman second baseman, up. He's reached on a fielder's choice and also a walk. He is at the plate taking a long look down to Kenny Miller at third base.
Busher, OBP, on base percentage right now. He's hit by a pitch, single, and walk, so he's been on base all 3 times. As St. Anthony's had some runners cashed into the tune of 4 in the first inning, but haven't scored since.
Nothing doing. Skies have thickened up here. Clouds become quite heavy. No rain in the forecast. There goes Busher. Just a little token fake to second. Second and third now for St. Anthony. They left the bases loaded last inning, left 2 on in the second. They scored 4 times in the first. They have been on the verge here the last couple of innings of breaking this one open. Lorenz just gets a piece of it.
So 5 runners left on base to last 2 innings, 2 in scoring position now. Would make it 7 if they're not able to cash in with Lorenz, and they'll look back at that.
Look at this, a steal attempt of home, and it's going to be a balk. They'll call the balk before Hecht gets a chance for a stolen base. He was just flat out breaking, and the freshman Hayden flinched. A run is in for St. Anthony.
Well, talking yesterday to St. Anthony, Kenny Miller said they might try to steal home today. They've done it on some numerous occasions this year. And with the windup, we talked about Carter Hayden being very slow in the stretch, but he would be able to freeze and look at the runner with a runner on third. He went to the windup again. Very, very slow delivery. He didn't check the runner at third. St. Anthony, playing a very aggressive baseball, comes up with a big run.
5-2 St. Anthony. Lorenz at the plate to center field. Center fielder coming in. Sterrett will make the catch in short right center. But a run comes in, and a big one it is. Hecht reaches on an error, steals second, advances to third in a wild pitch, attempts a steal of home. It leads to a balk, and it all adds up to a 3-run lead for St. Anthony. 5-2 Bulldogs as we head to the 5th. A little bit later on today, those lights may be flipped on. We are in game number 1 of 4 here in Peoria. It's Class 1A semifinals. Matches Alton Marquette taking on Effingham St. Anthony. Coming up next, immediately following this game on IHSA.TV, it will be Lena Winslow and Tuscola. Of course, tomorrow morning we will get things started. Third place game at 9 o'clock, state championship game in 1A to follow later this afternoon. It's all about 2A starting at 3 o'clock. Rock Island Alleman and Herscher get it going at 3 o'clock, then Westland and U-High to follow. Looking to get things going here as we start the top of the 5th inning is Jeffrey Ferguson. A walk, a run scored, and a bounce out. His team only has 2 hits through 4 innings, and he has a count in his favor, 3-1.
Right now, I think if you're Ferguson, you have to take another pitch. You has, at the leadoff man, you have to get on base. Good at bat going right now. He is a catalyst. Leadoff man leading off this inning. They're chasing 3. Good take there. The count's still in his favor. He'll get a fastball.
There it is. He had a good rip at it.
You know, great hitters know the mental part of the game and know their roles. His role on that 3-1 pitch, somebody might say, why didn't he swing at that? His job is to get on base. He can't hit a 3-run homer with no one on base. He's got to set the table for likes of Schrank and Sterrett and Wilson coming up.
Good fastball in the outside corner. It sends Ferguson back to the dugout.
Well, we've talked about all the different things we've seen today. Yes, we've seen some called third strikes, but we'd have to go back and count. That's probably about the 4th or 5th called third strike in this baseball game.
Well, actually, it's the 4th called third out of the 5 strikeouts that Hecht has had. On the other side, there have been 1, 2, 3 more.
So 7 times home plate umpire Rick Keller has done the ring up.
There's the 3rd hit of the game for Marquette. It comes off the bat of Nick Schrank. As the Explorers, 27-8 record, chasing a 3-run deficit.
Schrank that there, a good piece of tin work, if you will, as he was able to keep his hands inside, still get the barrel to the baseball and drive it right back up the box past Hecht and by Willenborg, the shortstop.
Derek Sterrett at the plate. Struck out looking and also singled before he was caught stealing back in the 3rd inning. Sterrett's contribution today has been huge. He pitched 2 2/3 innings and kept Effingham St. Anthony off the board. Now without a little drama in a couple of instances, but he kept this team in the ball game. A 4-2 lead stayed that way until St. Anthony picked up a run in the bottom half of the last inning.
Alton Marquette with 296 students. That's a big school compared to St. Anthony's 190. So gotta love some 1A baseball, getting kids a chance to play in a big show, playing in Peoria.
Short lead at first for Schrank. There's a jump shot inside. We've seen Heck move that ball in and out here today.
Well, good bloodlines. You talked about his brother Anthony playing at Arkansas Little Rock. He's got another brother that's playing at Kaskaskia at junior college currently.
This ball's hit hard to the gap, retreating. So right fielder Having cannot handle it. Runners will go to second and third on the double by Sterrett.
An outstanding effort by Having, who just couldn't close the deal on that. That ball was hit into the right center field gap with authority, but the wind was actually taking that ball back to the right fielder Having. Having got off the bat, inside out that ball, hit it with authority. The ball's coming back to Having, who had a really good angle on the baseball, I thought. Seemed to have it in his glove, was not able to close the deal. Definitely a double, no doubt about it, but would have been a great catch and a big, big play for St. Anthony.
Now the cleanup hitter, Johnny Wilson, takes a big hack. Similar situation in the first inning, runners second and third with one out. Actually identical situation. At that time, Kenny Miller, the head coach for St. Anthony, intentionally walked Wilson. This time he's pitching to him with first base open. And he's down on a count very quickly, 0-2.
Interesting right now, St. Anthony playing their infield halfway. Rather than just conceding the run with a 3-run lead, you want to stay out of a big inning. The infielders are up and in. Very interesting decision right there by Kenny Miller.
Outfield playing Wilson straight away. Big man takes a big cut. Just got a piece of it.
If we get a chance to see the defense, you can also see the outfield. You see the right fielder Having and center field Cabas. They'll align themselves with their left foot up, their right foot back. That's to have themselves already in throwing position. Very interesting coaching technique right there by the outfield of Effingham St. Anthony. Now you see it right before the pitch, if we can get a picture of it, because right now they're in a relaxed state as there's a visit on the mound. But right before the pitch, all outfielders bring their left foot forward, drop their throwing foot and the right foot back, so they're already in position to try to make the next throw after a would-be catch. There it is right there. You see the center fielder Cabas.
Pitch to Wilson, gets him on a high heater. Big strikeout for Hecht. It's the second of the inning. It's the second out of the inning, and it will bring up Brogan Fisher.
I tell you what, you're not 10-0 with a 0.53 earned run average unless you can make pitches like that. That was one he needed to get above the hands of Wilson. You can't miss below. He got it above and got the punch out.
He gets the first pitch swinging from Fisher, the junior, who's driven in his 19th and 20th runs of the season. That came way back in the first inning. Marquette jumped on top, 2-0. One ball, one strike. Schrank at third, Sterrett at second. That goes right after him.
Interesting, Brogan Fisher. Look at the crouch that he uses to bat it. He's going to get down even lower than that. He's way down there.
He'll take it for 2-2. That left knee comes very close to the ground. Look at that left knee there. Heel off the ground. Here's the 2-2. Into the air. Is there room? And there is for Charlie Schultz, the first baseman. A long run, the catch right in front of the Marquette dugout. And that closes out the top of the fifth inning. A single and a double are left on the bases. We'll go to the bottom of 5-2, St. Anthony. O'Brien Field. It's where every Class 1A and 2A baseball team in Illinois hope to be playing in the early part of June. It's the site of the baseball state finals. We welcome you to downtown Peoria along with Hall of Fame coach Mark Lindo. I'm Dave Bernhardt. We start the bottom of the fifth inning. One pitch grounder off the bat of McElkebus to Austin Senior. We have very quickly make that Neil Williams a ground ball to Senior. We have one out.
Marquette cannot be chasing any more than the 3 on the board, not the way Hecht has been performing of late. So this is a shutdown inning right now for the freshman.
Hayden gave up a run last inning, came on a balk when Hecht was attempting to steal home. Dazenbrock, he'll swing at the second pitch of the inning, lifted to right field. Ferguson in, over, makes the catch. And now let's see what Alex Holscher's approach at the plate will be here in the bottom of the fifth. See if he'll get a few automatic takes here.
Got to get into the pitch count, although obviously Hayden's very fresh, and I think this is his game to finish as long as he is effective.
Holscher today lined out to right field. Great catch made by Ferguson on that. Also walked. Talk about those magic number of runs scored by an opponent. Only one time this year, Mark mentioned it earlier, only one time has St. Anthony allowed more than 5 runs. That came in an 8-1 loss to Effingham High School. That was the Battle of Effingham, a 3-game series in 3 days. An 8-1 loss to the Flaming Hearts. Bulldogs won the first game 4-1, then lost 8-1 and 4-0. They were one hit in each of those last 2 games against Effingham. 2-2 now to Holscher.
So the pace of this game's picked up quite a bit. We had like a 30-minute first inning. Since then, only 1 run on the board, innings 2, 3, 4, and through the top of the fifth, now into the bottom of inning number 5.
Talk about those games to Effingham. Part of a stretch. How about this in the last 9 regular season games? St. Anthony, 3 wins, 5 losses, and a tie. So much for momentum going into the state playoffs. Hard shot to the third baseman. Nice stop by Danny Holtz. And a strike across the infield. And for the first time today, St. Anthony goes up and down in order, and a quick half inning it was. We've played 5. 2 innings to decide who'll be playing for the 1A state title tomorrow. Right now, advantage Bulldogs. We said this is O'Brien Field. It's the home of the Class A affiliate of the Chicago Cubs, the Peoria Chiefs. It's the site of the 1A, 2A state finals. Next week we will be in Joliet for the 3 and 4A finals. That will be at Silver Cross Field, the home of the Joliet Slammers. Independent league team. 2 great facilities for high school players to wrap up the season.
And since we've gone to 4-class baseball, personal note on my part, outstanding decision by the IHSA to have the 2 different venues. Obviously the bigger schools up in the northern part of the state for travel, for convenience, for finances, and the smaller schools located down here in the central part of the state works out very, very well.
Senior with the tapper, Hecht with the pickup and a strike to first base. 1 gone to start the 6th. Well, we see the crowd starting to build here for our second Class 1A semifinal. Of course, St. Anthony fans from Effingham and the Marquette fans from Alton have been here a while, but it's Lena Winslow and Tuscola, and that will be coming up next, approximately 30 to 40 minutes after the conclusion of this one on IHSA.TV.
We see the temperature flashing out on the scoreboard. 11:46 a.m. It's about 59 degrees. It'll hit 60 before we're all said and done. We started this one, it was 49 degrees. I looked out there. So we're at 59. There it is. 59 degrees at 11:49 on the 1st of June. You got to love Illinois. You got to love Illinois.
At the plate, Carter Hayden, and he quickly will have a seat. Yet another called strike 3. It's the 7th strikeout of the day from Hecht. He has 3 of those 7 here in the last 2 innings.
Just painted the outer edge and froze the freshman Connor Hayden with that. Yeah, we had baseball played in Illinois in March in mid-80-degree temperatures. You move the calendar to April, May, and then the 1st of June, and your first pitch of the state tournament's thrown at 49 degrees.
Off the fist, up the middle by Jack Miller. It will be tracked down by shortstop Reed Willenberg, but there's no play as Miller will pick up the 2-out hit.
Good job by Miller, because Hecht with a solid pitch right in on the hands of Miller, but he was able to get his hands through and get just enough barrel to get that ball up the middle. Willenberg ran it down, but obviously no chance to make a play at first base. Marquette with a runner with 2 outs.
Brings up Danny Holtz. Holtz today has bounced back to the pitcher and walked. Holtz on the season did not have much playing time until the sectional after Stephen Peterbaugh was injured in a skateboarding accident. Hurt Peterbaugh injuring himself, out with an injured hand. So Holtz not much action at the plate. In fact, coming into this tournament, Holtz with only 21 at-bats. That's a big at-bat there for Miller preceding him, because that means you're going to turn that lineup over to the top, even if Holtz makes an out here to close out the inning.
Yeah, win-win situation, no doubt. If Holtz can do something, get on base, keep it alive for Ferguson, you might have a 2-out rally. If he's not, you're right. Miller did his job, because you'll have the leadoff man, Jeffrey Ferguson, top of the order, which would be a huge, huge opportunity for Marquette next inning to start anew.
Fouled back again as the defense for St. Anthony playing Holtz well around to the right side infield as well as shortstop Willenberg fairly close to the bag. Center fielder Michael Cabas shaded down the right field line. The right fielder Having just off the line and right. The 0-2 pitch to Holtz. They go right after him, and freshman just keeps pecking away.
I think if you're Hecht, you might want to be out of the zone on this pitch, because as you mentioned, especially any hitter, but especially a freshman, you might get him to chase a ball out of the zone.
He looked for him to bite right there, and it did not happen.
And you know, a lot of pitchers call that a waste pitch. That's not a good verbiage. You want to have a purpose to the pitch. You give it a chance, like that one.
2 balls, 2 strikes.
Much better pitch by Hecht, as he had an opportunity for Holtz to chase, but good job by the number 9 hitter.
Right, he's going to look at that one. 8th strikeout of the day, and it closes out the 6th inning. St. Anthony in control. They've been in control since the first. We go to the bottom of number 6. Get a look at the Tuscola Warriors down on the third base side, well down the left field line. On the right field side, Lena Winslow Panthers. They're getting set for our second semifinal in Class 1A. That will take place following the conclusion of this game. Be a lot of black and gold on the field here in about an hour.
Have fun with that one, right?
Well, it's not like it's football or basketball, so a little better. Jared Having at the plate to start. Having today 2 for 3, a couple of singles and a strikeout. Carter Hayden, the freshman, working in his 3rd inning of relief. He's given up 1 run. This pitch is out, 2 balls and a strike. Hayden has given up 1 run, is not allowed a hit. Walked 1, struck out 1. The only run scored off him came after a throwing error. Stolen base, wild pitch, and then his own doing of a balk. Having off the fist. The third baseman Holtz picks it up. Low throw. Gets past the first baseman. Miller on to second base will be Having. He'll be held up there on the throwing error by Danny Holtz. That is the 4th error of the day for the Explorers.
And that, again, was a relatively easy play. But Having on base for the 3rd time in 4 at-bats. Checks to outfield to know where they're playing right now. He gets on base. St. Anthony scores an awful lot of runs. There's no doubt he is the table setter, is Having. He's scored 42 runs, 43 now on the season.
Pretty good lead at second base for Michael Cabas at the plate. Boy, this is the exact situation you want to be in, isn't it? You're up by 3 runs, bottom of the 6th inning, your leadoff man sitting at second base. You have your 2, 3, 4 hitters to follow. Looking to put this one away.
And they can just about do so right now. Pickoff attempt.
Decent timing off the glove of the shortstop, Senior. Having had thoughts of going to third. He'll come back.
Center fielder has to be moving on that pickoff attempt. Every pitch that's thrown, every throw that's made, basically all 9 players should be moving in some direction, whether it be to cover a base, back up a base, what have you.
2 quick strikes on Cabas. Well, I was going to say, let's see if Michael Cabas tries to get it to the right side. Now basically he's obviously would still want to do that, but it's all about contact right now.
Yeah, you have to have really good ability to handle a bat to do so with 2 strikes.
Cabas today 1 for 3, singled and scored in the first. A 4-run first inning for St. Anthony after Marquette picked up 2 runs in the top half of the first inning. St. Anthony's other run came in the bottom of the 4th. Cabas had a pitch to work with there to get it to the right side, just spins it off the end of the bat. Ben Hecht to follow. He scored 2 of the 5 runs, and Reed Willenberg after Hecht.
Cabas, a soccer standout, and he's got some academic ability, the salutatorian of his class.
There goes the runner. Pitch in the dirt, never a chance. Good break by Having. Stolen base.
We mentioned Having had the green light, and once again, he did not steal third base on catcher Nick Schrank, but he stole the base on pitcher Carter Hayden, who 1, did not pay close enough attention to him along with his middle infielder, and 2, slow lead leg.
Now the infield in. Cabas into the air, not enough. Shortstop Senior will make the catch near that second base bag. And that's out number 1. Brings up Hecht. Hecht has been on base all 3 times, once with a single, 2 other times reached on errors. He has scored twice, stolen 2 bases, driven in a run. He also has a 5-2 lead on the mound, looking for his 11th win of the year.
35 RBIs, so you gotta like his odds right now of getting this run in. Marquette's infield up and on the edge of the grass.
Kenny Miller going through a full set of signs down in that third base coach's box. And that may have, nope, that may have caught a little bit of that loose left sleeve and said the pitch just inside.
Well, quite normally you'd like Heck swing the bat here. He is your RBI guy hitting to the 3-hole, but there's no doubt Kenny Miller likes to play the game outside of the box, if you will.
Heck to the left side and through. Base hit, drives in a run. It's a 6-2 St. Anthony lead.
Took advantage of pulling infield, got his hands through, got his hands in the barrel through the hitting zone. Nice job driving in that run. They cash in on the opportunity of getting on base and then stealing third base, which drew the infield in. St. Anthony's scores with a little bit of small ball, if you will, right there.
It started with the throwing error that placed the leadoff man Having on base.
Yeah, you talk about that run, throwing error, gets him to second base, steal of third base, drawn in infield, and a ground ball that was not hit hard through the drawn in infield, and they get an RBI.
Hecht has been a busy man today in the bases, reaching all 4 times. He takes a pretty good walking lead. Carter Hayden will give him that look. Reed Willenborg at the plate. Today Willenborg, 2 strikeouts. First time up though, single, drove in a run. He eventually scored.
6'3", 190. Good looking young athlete. Hits from the wide open stance.
That one was right down the middle. You Get the sense of Willenberg, who struck out looking his last time up, is not getting a real good look at the pitches today.
See his front foot, left foot wide open, which opens up your hips, and then his first move will be right toward home plate. Watch the movement, and it was.
Different philosophies on hitting with open stances. Some, of course, more exaggerated than others.
And the idea is, one, the comfort zone, but two, the ability to maybe see the ball a little bit better and longer.
Hecht is running. Holtz will take it. His only play is at first. Makes a good throw as Hecht goes into second on the ground out. Two outs now for Austin Busher. Busher has one of the 7 hits that St. Anthony has garnered today.
We have seen runners in motion consistently by St. Anthony's today. Marquette did so in the first inning, but basically the running game's been shut down as they have not been able to get themselves trailing 5-2 and now 6-2 into running situations.
.40 RBIs for Austin Busher, the sophomore. Stands at the plate.
Six home runs we mentioned for Busher. Don't think any balls are going to leave the yard today, Dave. 1, cool temperatures. 2, the wind. 3, the large ballpark.
One thing you'd have to, I think the one spot you could do it is if somehow you had a left-handed hitter hitting a hooking fly ball right down there to the 310 line in right field. That's where the wind might give you a little bit of a boost.
And let's not forget number 4, the new composite bat, which has taken away some of the long ball.
Busher takes a pretty good cut. This may stay in play. Miller with some room, steadies himself, makes the catch. A run in. There was an RBI single from Ben Hecht. He will head out to the mound. He will have a 4-run lead. Last chance for Alton Marquette. 6-2. We head to the 7th. Ben Hecht takes the mound here in the 7th inning. 2 hours ago in the first inning, Hecht started with a walk, a hit batter, an intentional walk, loaded the bases, and then gave up a 2-run single. Since then, he has been dynamite. Scattered 5 hits for the game. He has struck out 8. And he is now 3 outs away from pitching his team to a state title ball game. Leading it off will be the leadoff hitter, Jeffrey Ferguson, for Marquette. St. Anthony playing for a chance to play for their first state baseball title in school history. They finished 4th in 1991, came back 1 spot higher in 1992 with the 3rd place finish. This is their first appearance since '92. Big swing from Ferguson, 2 balls, 2 strikes.
But Hecht, if he's able to finish this thing, shows his ability to move to 11-0 as he was able to just, put that first inning beside him. He's gotten stronger as the game has gone along. The ever important first out.
9th strikeout on his 114th pitch of the afternoon. Walking to the plate is Schrank. Schrank, one of the 5 hits today against Hecht. Looking to go 11-0 on the season.
Earned run average 0.53. Ironically, it'll climb today, but he doesn't care.
Straight up the chute. Catcher Dazenbach, and it falls in between he and Hecht, and that ball is going to spin back on you.
He's just looking for 2 more outs, and they just gave one right there because of some miscommunication.
So Schrank goes first pitch swinging. Different philosophies on that as well. When you're down by 4 runs, top of the order, you get up there and take pitches, or you go swinging. Well, for Hecht, he had a couple of hit batters and a walk in the first inning, tossed in an intentional walk in the first, but since then he has only walked 1 batter. Since the first inning, he has struck out 7 batters here in the last 6 innings, and he has gotten that strikeout pitch going 5 in the last 3 innings. Just missed outside. That's exactly where he wanted to put it, though. hooking left field line, hit pretty well, and it gets out of play right there in the cluster of Tuscola Warriors. They'll be playing in our next ball game. They'll be playing the winner of this one. As long as Tuscola can get by, however, Lena Winslow down the right field side has something to say about that. Here's a pitch to Shrink, and then strikeout number 10.
How about finishing with a flurry? He has lived on the outer edge, and he's lived on the ball up and in. He's really mixed it, those two locales.
3 straight strikeouts in the game. The last 4 outs have come by way of strikeout. Now Derek Sterrett, the only man that stands in the way of Effingham St. Anthony playing for their first state baseball championship in school history. Count to 2-0. And that hits the outside corner. Sterrett, 2 of the 5 hits. It doubled his last time up. There he goes swinging and not drawing anything on that one. And now 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Top of the 7th inning. A 6-2 lead for St. Anthony. Call strike 3. He finishes with that flourish. Striking out the side. The last 4 batters by way of strikeouts. Ben Heck finishes with 11 Ks, but more importantly, his team will be playing for a Class 1A state championship.
What a superlative pitching performance by Hecht. Struggled big time. Inning number 1, gave up 2, but after that, nada. He was in full command of the zone, outside, up, in, out, you name it. Command of a couple different pitches. Hard breaking ball. You see one with some bite right there. And the exhilaration, as he knows he's playing tomorrow with his teammates for a state title.
Alton Marquette picked up 2 runs in the top of the 1st inning. St. Anthony came back with 4 in the bottom, added single runs in the 4th and the 6th, and the rest was all about Ben Hecht. So they know that they'll be playing about 11 o'clock tomorrow morning for the state championship. Their opponent, that will be decided next. Coming up next, Lena Winslow takes on Tuscola. Stay right there. We'll have 1A semifinal action for you in about 30 minutes. But here today in game number 1 in Peoria, your final score, Effingham St. Anthony 6, Alton Marquette 2. For our IHSA.TV crew, my partner Mark Lindo, I'm Dave Bernhardt. We'll see you back in Peoria.